I want to talk to you a little bit about back pain and the correlation with C-section scars. So if you know my history, I had a C-section many years ago and had a lot of contributing back pain as a result of that scar tissue. And I wanted to kind of talk about why I see that as a common thing when people come into my practice. And it doesn't have to be a C-section scar. It could be abdominal surgery. It could be from sitting for long periods of time where their psoas muscle just gets really shortened down and tightened, and that's a big contributor to a lot of back pain. So I treat a lot of back issues through the belly, okay? But for C-section scars in particular, why this is so important to understand for people is that years ago they always did this vertical cut, and then I don't know at what point in time back in the 70s, 80s, they went to this bikini cut. So the bikini cut, I grab my little Waldo here, the bikini cut is like a little smiley face on the lower end of the pelvis here, okay? Well, a vertical cut, causes issues that could be higher up as well as low, and the bikini cut affects the whole pelvic bowl. And anytime you have surgery, that scar tissue can really thread anywhere and affect a lot of things. But what I typically find is that people tend to get pulled really far forward when they've had C-section scars or abdominal scars. And it could be a bikini cut or it could be vertical, okay? But we see more often that they are this bikini cut to kind of hide that big scar in the abdomen. So, but what can happen is everything in this pelvic bowl basically is impacted, okay? Your bladder can be impacted, your bowels can be impacted, even your spine can be impacted. And that's one of the things that I have as an issue. And I see it pretty commonly where people get what's called lordosis, or their back is pulling in really far, their stomach starts to pop out far. Yes, sometimes we have bellies because we eat too much or we don't exercise enough, or that's just life, it's part of our sedentary lifestyles. But there are other reasons why that's happening as well. And so for me in particular, one of the issues that I have is called spondylosis. So right at this last little piece here, I'm going to bring this in a little bit if I can. I have a little step off here in my spine where this disc and this vertebrae actually are pulled forward. They're pulled forward and it actually pinches that disc periodically. And it could cause a whole host of issues, and it has caused a whole host of issues for me. But it's not the end of the world, okay? It's something that is treatable for a long period of time, and it could be treatable forever. So, but what happens is that bone actually starts to break down a little bit because it's not fully supported. It's pulled off its center, and the disc could be pinching a bit, okay? So that's one of the things that can happen. Good morning, Nancy. So that's one of the things that can be happening with back pain is maybe they're pulling forward too much, and that's contributing to their symptoms. So that's one little piece I wanted to show you on here. I have a diagram I can actually show you a little better illustration of that. Here would be your normal spine. So there's a slight curve, soft belly, and that all looks good, okay? When your psoas muscle gets tight and you have scar tissue that can pull you forward, this is what can happen. A bigger arch in the back, their belly pops out, and it actually causes some pinching in the low back. So when people have that pain that's coming across the back here, a lot of times it's because they're rotating forward, and it might be because of their scar tissue. It might be because they've been sitting a whole lot and their psoas muscles are just really short. So one of the big things that we need to do is open that up. So when people have back pain, because they're pulling so far forward, is we need to treat them in the front. We need to treat them in the front, and we need to treat them in the back, okay? And so I teach patients how to stretch both in the front and in the back. Today I'm actually going to show you a quick little psoas stretch. You might have seen something like this before if you've been following my Facebook page for a while, but it's with a ball. Let me grab a ball here, popping out of view. So I have a ball here, and what I'm going to do is, because I'm specifically focusing on a C-section scar, it's low here. I have this lovely bikini cut scar. When you treat your psoas, you can actually treat this whole area here, and it's on both sides with the, with your scar tissue. you want to treat around the area of the scar itself and where you actually feel it the most, okay? Now, you'll have better luck with a therapist treating your scar tissue, but you can do some of the work yourself. So that's what I'm going to show you. And it's basically like a very low psoas stretch, because that's kind of the area that it's going to be, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually lay on the table here, and I'm going to put this ball into my belly, and I'm just going to let it sink and relax. Now, if I'm not feeling anything, guess what? I'm probably not doing anything. If you feel something, it's probably a good place to be. You might want to, play around with it a little bit. Where do you feel it more? You feel a little bit more on this side? Typically, you're going to have more sensations in one part of the body or another. Oh, hi, Rebecca. Good to see you on. So go where you feel it the most, okay? So it can be anywhere along this lovely bikini cut, or if you've got a vertical scar, same kind of deal. It could be anywhere along the side. So what you're going to want to do, hopefully I don't lose the mic here, is I'm just going to put this ball into my abdomen, and I'm going to sink in, and I'm going to relax. Now, I typically do this on the floor, but for the video camera, I'm just doing it on the table. But typically I do it on the floor because I can feel it more. I actually don't feel a whole lot in my belly right now because the cushion of this table is actually taking out the pressure in my abdomen. But what I could do is I could find another spot, and I can guarantee you I'm going to find a place that is actually more tender. So that's one of the ways that you can work on treating that scar tissue that then affects your belly as well. So I hope that's helpful. Hey, Ginger, nice to see you popping on here. I hope that's helpful. But again, if you're self-treating and you're not able to work out those issues with your low back pain and you do have some abdominal scars, find your local therapist. They can help you out. You don't have to suffer because of your C-section scar, okay? That back pain is completely treatable and could be completely taken away or at least taken back to a point where you can function at a high level and can continue to do what you need to do. Play with your kids, do your sports, whatever. It does not have to take you out of the game.